Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello. Thanks to La Humla Snuse for letting me speak at this webinar. It's going to be a little less scientific than the previous panelists and more anecdotal. I'm just going to be talking about me and my dad's involvement in the pilot project that's been arranged by La Humla Snuse to maintain and promote flowering zones with the goal of benefiting pollinators and specifically bumblebees. The work that we've been doing on our farm. My name is Jostein Svalheim. I'm a grain farmer in Norway. I'm based on a farm outside of Kongsberg, roughly an hour from Oslo. Me and my dad, Halvdan, grow grains and legumes alongside each other on the farm. I grew up helping out at the farm from a quite early age and left to study film actually when I was 19. After 5 years in the television industry, I came back to start my own farming operation. My dad is an organic farmer and has been since the year 2000. But he has been managing some conventional fields alongside, which is the fields that I took over when I came back. And I'm currently working to switching these fields from conventional to regenerative agriculture. But the reason I'm here to talk is mostly because of our involvement in the pilot project and the work we're doing on the flowering zones. In early 2018, I think it was then, my dad and I went to a meeting in Kongsberg, arranged for farmers by La Humla Snuse. And they talked about the situation of pollinators, and they wanted to start a pilot project where farmers would get funding to manage flowering zones to benefit the bumblebees in particular. And we were interested in this, so we signed up. It started with consultants showing up from LHS, like La Humla Snuse, sorry, came to our farm and went around looking for zones suitable for the purpose. They identified some areas that provided a solid basis for flowers and herbs, and afterwards we got a management plan by email with instructions on how to proceed maintaining those. We have 3 or 4 separate zones here. I think some of them are connected by small strips, but generally they're very close together on the farm. The management plan we got, basically the instructions were to cut twice the first year, like once early in the year and once late in the year, springtime, early year, and after harvest in fall. And then also removing the green matter afterwards, so it doesn't block the ground. The results from this has been like the overgrowing species, like grass species and nettles and stuff like that, have been, receding in numbers. Just from us cutting it early and removing it, you can like tell that it's not the best conditions for them anymore, and like they're being outcompeted because we are removing them at these times of the year. More sunlight will then also be allowed down on the ground, warming it up and providing better terms for the flowers and herbs, which are more important for the pollinators than the grasses and the other stuff that usually overgrew the area. So this has changed. We've seen the green matter go, or the overgrowing species go back, and we see an increase in the amount of flowers, and not in biological diversity, but the flowers that already were there. We did see a pretty immediate change where they increased in numbers, but like the overall biological diversity, we haven't seen that increase too much yet. I'm guessing that's going to take time, but the flowers that were there, we see much more of them that were already present after we've been doing this work. And that happened actually quite quick. We started this, the first year we did this was 2018. Last year you could see change, and this year, like, it's not the biggest change from the last year to this year, but there is a change, at least in like the amount of flowers. We're also pretty certain, without having too much, like, might just be because we're looking now, but we're also pretty certain that we can see more bumblebees around the farm. Maybe it's just because we're keeping an eye out, but it helps on the motivation at least to see them flying around. As for workload, it's a very manageable workload. For us, it really helped that we had plans prepared for us by consultants and Lahomrashuset, so that we didn't have to sit down and kind of figure out how we would fit all of this in. We got management plan that was easy to follow, and it had simple instructions. So we could just fit it in when it fit, and it fits really well. We are, like I said earlier, we grow grains, and so we, like in the periods of spring and harvest, there is very little time we can set, like we can't plan to take any time off to sort stuff like this. But being able to do it before and after we do our main operations on the farm has been very important for our ability to contribute. It has also helped a lot that the approach from Lahomrashuset has been very scientific and not very ideological. For us, that's not really a huge thing, but I've been talking to a lot of other farmers, and they're very solution oriented and don't really like talking about want concise solutions. They want methods and stuff, and that's Lahomrashuset has been very, very good at providing that for farmers, so that we know exactly what we can do and what we can expect to see as a result. It's been very, we have been given honest expectations from what we can expect to see as a result of the work. The cooperation in general with Lahomrashuset has been stellar. They have visited twice every year to check on progress, and their consultants have also been registering species at the farm, both bumblebees and flowers. And at the end of the year, we have received a list of the species identified in our zones, which is that's a cool bonus. So you get a list to see all the bumblebees that they've seen, and for us, that's been very cool, actually. The work itself has been very inspiring, I think, for both my dad and myself. With the new funding programs made available in Norway, we have already applied and have been granted money to establish more flowering zones other places. So this fall, we will be cleaning up a large area and try to establish a small meadow in between some of our organic fields about 1 kilometer away. Hopefully, well, we hope we'll see a small benefit of that, but we're doing it mainly for the pollinators. So we're looking forward to get started on that. We as farmers, we are in a rare position where we collectively can and do impact the climate issues overall. So I think it's important for us to try in any way we can to help out, and programs like these make it easier for farmers to kind of get away from the day-to-day cash crop mindset that we're usually in, and provide a path for us to take the more climate friendly and projects, take on more climate friendly projects, I guess is what I would say. All right, that's for me. Thanks for letting me share, and we are looking forward to continuing the work here on the farm. If anybody has any questions, I can answer them now. I think I have 5 minutes left. That went fast. All right.
Thank you. Yes, you are correct. You have some time for questions if there are any. I have a question. Do you know what kind of, how many bumblebees have been observed on your farm?
Oh, we did get a list, and I do have it. It's I can't remember exactly. It's more than we expected. We have seen some rare varieties as well, but I can't say exactly. I would guess somewhere like 7 to 9. I think maybe No, 7, closer to 7, I would say. But there are a couple of rare ones, and then like 4 or 5 of the very normal ones.
Great. Seriously. Are there any network for farmers using the idea of regenerative farming in Norway? Do you know that?
Oh, no, very little. This is regenerative farming as a principle. It's a very new idea. So there isn't really a network for it. There are some companies that work to, like, consultants you can talk to. There's a company called Vital Analyse that's we've been using for our consulting. They're very up to date on the science on this. So if you like, but community-wise, there's not much yet. But if you find one, please let me know, because I would very much like to join.
Great. Does anyone have any other questions? See, thanks so much, Jostein. I'm starting a pollinator-friendly farms project to produce advisory materials for farmers. Do you have any advice on what farmers need for this?
For our, yeah, well, I think do's and don'ts. I think if you explain basically the what's been helpful for us is not just what we're supposed to be doing, but kind of simply why we're supposed to be doing it. And so, in our sense, if we're cutting the fields and we know that it's or if we're cutting the flowering zone and we know that it's supposed to happen because we're getting space for these flowers which appear by this time, then we can kind of adjust, like give. There is nice to have some leeway in those plans where we know where we can make a decisive decision ourselves on how we actually do it. So it's been more beneficial for us to actually have explained the goal of what we're doing it, and not necessarily a specific date by date plan, so we can fit it better into our operation. Other than that, it's nice to have some advice on methods to get this done easily. We're very farmers are very interested in like cost efficiency when it comes to the work we're doing, and so farmers should know that having the right equipment is going to be a huge factor in being able to do this satisfyingly, in a sense. Other than that, it's just anything that has helped us or helped inspire us, I think, to care more, has been a contributor, because we do want to get the work done. And I can't say that that's something that happened on its own. That's been instilled in us, I would say. Yep.
Great. I have one more question here. What do you think is the best way to convince more farmers to involve themselves like you have done? That's hard. Farmers are very stubborn, and we're very. It comes with the territory. It's a traditional line of work. So people are used to doing it the way it's been done on their farm. So convincing people to care, I think, is where you need to start, because farmers are very interested in doing stuff they care about. So I guess if you can get farmers to care, in a sense, and for different farmers, that will be different. That will be different methods. So somebody will care more about the value of having pollinators, lots of pollinators in their operation, and some will care more about the like biological diversity. Some people care actually about having very nice meadows around their farms and stuff. So like the way to convince the farmers very unique. I don't think there's a one size fits all for farmers. For me, it's just been I want the farming operation to be better for the environment, but not everybody has that conviction. Yes, I completely agree. I also think that for most people, having knowledge will create engagement, but
Yeah,
that doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah, I think if people learn, then they will care naturally if they have the capacity to, I think.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it for the question, and we should be closing up. Thank you so much, Jostein.
No worries, no worries. Oh yeah, about the link, Rebecca. I've seen. I am actually a member of that one. That's not specifically regenerative, but they overlap very much. So, but thanks.
Yes. Can we have a list of all attendants on this meeting? Those who say okay to share their email address. Can we do that? No, I don't think we can. If people want their emails shared with this network of people being here, they can. We can send out a form where people can answer the form if they want their emails shared.